Okay, like just let me put my phone on silence.
Phone on silence, but what if somebody tries to contact you? Like your mother gets stuck on a spaceship and it's her only time to call a person before the ship gets out of the coverage zone of the world satellites.
Eh,
How is she gonna contact you, Enes?
she better text me, then I'll see her message.
No, but it's an emergency. She's like going all very fast. You should be contacting like FBI or something.
Yeah.
This is a film reference, by the way. You guys get it?
I mean, my phone will be on silence. I will see her calling me. If it's something urgent, I will definitely stop this recording. Then it won't be a problem, I guess.
But how do you know if it's an urgent?
Like she may be calling for not spaceship.
Like, for example, for me, if something is urgent, I first text the person like, hey, like, can you call me? Or I want to call you. It's something urgent, and kind of let them know via text. And if they don't respond me fast, then I call them. Like, that's how I kind of do it. And then I have this kind of safe ground of like, well, I texted you, but you didn't see it. So I had to call you because it was something urgent and I told you on the text.
I will do the contrary. I will first call if it's something urgent. Then I will text that person again if they didn't pick up. Because if it's urgent, I won't have any time to text. That's what I'm thinking. But maybe it will change according to type of emergency as well.
Yeah, true.
No, but here's the problem with both of your approaches. Elif, I'm going to start with you because my mother does that. My mother is sometimes like, I love my mother. She texts me saying something. And a few minutes later, she calls me saying, I texted you. Why didn't you respond?
No, I don't say that why you didn't respond, but I was like, because it was something urgent, I had to call you.
I'm not entirely sure about the purpose of the text here.
Me neither. Well, I mean, for me, I guess this is something personal, but for me, my notifications are that so that when my phone is locked, the contents of the messages don't show on the screen. So whether you're texting, whether someone is texting me for an emergency or just texting me normally, I would not know the difference without checking it. So texting for emergency is basically useless for me.
I mean, it changes according to the emergency situation. If it's like, for example, a work-related something and you need an urgent answer for something, you first call someone, then you didn't get reply, so you just ask about the stuff, and whenever you are available, just let me know that stuff you can ask. So whenever it's the most possible, whenever it's the most earliest, you can get a reply about that and get your answer, I guess. That's my thought process by texting.
Like for me, what I do first texting is give the other person to give me an answer via text so I don't have to call them. Like I want to avoid calling, so I first text them, and even if it's an urgent or emergency, whatever, I give the chance of like talking through this via texting so that I don't have to call them.
So you prioritize texting over calling, I guess. And
yeah.
So it's logical in your way, I guess.
I don't like talking on the phone. Like I like talking on the phone, but like I prefer talking on the phone over text, but I don't like talking on the phone.
I think the only time when I call somebody instead of texting, when the text also would have worked, is when we are meeting with a person in the real world and we are trying to locate each other. I think that's the only acceptable usage of telephone between friends.
Yes, you can just resolve an issue in less than 1 minute, but while you're texting, it gets longer and longer. Or even just planning an event, it takes so short for me to just call and arrange something.
Well, for me, it's more like at this point of our lives, calling someone has become so much uncommon that just the notion of a call implies urgency for me. So that's why I would pick calling someone over texting someone.
You know, Binali, it is natural that you would think that because you and I are the older people here. Back, back at our day, the general understanding was when you text somebody, it was more like email.
Mm-hmm.
When you text somebody, you wouldn't expect it to be immediately answered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would be okay with it being like answered in a half an hour, 1 hour maybe, because like back at our day, there wasn't these instant messaging apps,
At least on the phone.
Yeah.
especially on the phone. On the phone, there was this numeric keypad typing thing. Like immediately you would know that person loves you because they are texting a long text. Like,
Yeah.
or they are very angry. Usually the second, actually. When I think about it, it's probably the second one.
I mean, even if they are angry, it must be very sustained anger because it takes time.
Yeah, like you would break buttons by the time you are able to
Yeah.
send the message.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel urgent to us, the message, the same way the call does. Because also at the same time, call is what parents did and message was what friends did. And obviously for a middle schooler, there is no emergency that emerges from your friends. Like even if your friend does get caught up in a spaceship and they are going out of the orbit, they would be calling their parents, not you, because you wouldn't be able to help them either with the spaceship situation.
I don't know how their parents gonna help, but
I don't know, but haven't you got friends like it's an emergency, we broke up with blah blah and such?
no.
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 Thinking about it, she would call instead of messaging, but she was a person that calls.
You know what I do in those cases? I send a really, really long voice recording that is podcast basically, and let the other person to listen to it in their free time. Or yeah, like that's what I usually kind of try to do. And but the beauty is with WhatsApp and most of the other like instant messaging apps, you can actually fast forward the audio recording. So when somebody sends me like a long audio recording, I tend to speed it up and I get my information really fast and I don't need to read anything, so it's perfect.
When people send me a voice recording, I usually put it off until I'm connected to a headphone.
That's the case for me too, especially if I'm outside.
Yeah.
It's so unurgent for me.
I use raise to hear, raise to listen function, but it's not helping very well.
I don't like to listen to anything without headphones.
I think another thing with voice recording is that I think maybe my perspective is wrong, but I think if you're sending a voice recording, I think you are on some level obligated to provide also some text context. Like if I am getting a voice recording message, especially a long one, and zero text accompanying it, I am like, what is this? Should I click this? Like that thinking about that gives me anxiety.
No, like for me, like voice recording is definitely least anxious because like it's totally on my end and I can listen to it and I can like listen to it as if it's a phone call, but I don't have to respond directly. You know what I mean? Like even if I don't have a headphones, like when you put the phone on your ear, it turns into like a phone call speaker, like top speaker part.
Yeah.
So you can listen
Raise
to it
the
as if
listen.
it's you can listen to it as if it's a phone call, but you don't have the obligation of responding fast or being present at that moment. And you know, like you can think about it, you can take your time. And sometimes I text it back. Like if people send me voice recording, I text them back rather than sending a voice record either. But it's fun. Like
I always do the same. Like whenever someone just send me a voice recording, I always send them a text message. But the problem is with the voice recording, I guess, like as Binelli says, you can't really see the contents. Like I can see contents.
You can't skim.
Yeah, I can't skim. Or I mean, sometimes I decide when to reply by just reading them from notifications or some place.
Same. So much same.
My notifications are closed.
Okay. But like even you can hide it from your lock screen, but still you can enable it from your notifications or some other place.
Like my whole notifications are off.
Muted.
Like all of them. Yeah.
It's nice of you. Then you don't need something to worry about at all.
Exactly. Like for me, that's why when you guys can't reach me, it's probably because I'm not looking at my phone. Like to be honest, like I like the idea of not being able to reach.
But that's the whole idea of having a phone.
Like I like being able to reach 100% all the time. It makes me so anxious and so nervous, and that's why like I turn off. Like all my notifications are turned off. It kind of creates like a weird how should I say, responsibility on my behalf, because now I have to remember to look at the text, and I have to remember my like agreements, what I decided before, or like, so I have to be more time managed in that way. But at the same time, like, I don't know, something beeping all the time or like something popping on my screen while I'm trying to
focus on something.
Yeah, like I'm not doing anything more important, but
yeah, but I turned off the notifications that come up from the top because they are annoying.
Yeah.
But I still have them on my what was it called? Notification center. I keep them on notification center because when I get messages, I just read them from there and probably reply the next day. So.
No.
Well, I mean, that is interesting. You said like I like not being able to be reached, etc. Because it's not just not being able to reach, but even people reach you, even if you get notifications, shouldn't you have the liberty of like choosing what to respond to and when to respond to?
But like what happens is already taking your attention, right? So there's already a break, and now the information is in my head and I'm already thinking about it. So it's already reached me,
I can understand Elif, I guess, because like I'm very responsive to messages, even though I say I don't care about that. I always open the message and reply back, like instantly. I'm very available. I'm very available.
Okay, here's the thing. Look, I understand when people are like, when I say I understand, I'm not saying I agree, but I understand where they are coming from. When people are like, there are so many notifications, they are overwhelming me. Oh my God, what am I going to do with this? But here's the problem with this line of thinking. Multiple times, this happened with Izel and this happened with Elif on different time scales for me. Multiple times I recall I need the person urgently for a meeting or for a very meta comment for a podcast meeting, and the person cannot be reached, and 1 hour later the person goes, oh, I fell asleep, I'm sorry. Here's the thing, if the phone was ringing, you would have been up by then. So I understand how people talking about how their cats are extra fluffy today shouldn't be blasting your phone all the time. But I also think that sometimes you would like there should be sort of trusted channel that you trust people to use when it is really urgent. And it's not necessarily texts or calling, because both of those things can be exploited for fluffy cats. But I also think that people should be able to reach you.
I disagree.
Also, I'm going to say something else. It's about the voice messages in particular. For a very long duration of my time, for my life, like up to meeting Elif actually, the only time people send me voice messages was when they were drunk. And it is usually like when I get a voice message, it is like, this doesn't happen because I'm cool. This happens because my friends are particularly crazy. There is some high-pitched voiced girl singing a song, That's what voice messages has been for me for many years. Like they are drunk, they are laughing, and very high pitched singing. So it doesn't really give me that gravitas of somebody trying to tell me something important. It is more like somebody is too drunk to text, so they send voice messages.
Well, I told this multiple times, like I'm dyslexic and writing and reading is a really big challenge for me, especially like having those multiple channels actually creates more accessibility for many people, like in my case. And and that's why, like, of course, like for me too, like I received a lot of drunk voice recordings. I used it for flirting, like sending the guy that I like a voice recording because I thought it's more intimate. But like at the same time, for me, listening is just so much easier than navigating from a 200 text conversation and understanding what's happening. Um, so yeah.
No, okay, maybe I expressed myself incorrectly, so let me fix that. I am not saying voice texts are necessarily a bad thing. What I'm saying is there's a different impression that a voice message creates on me because of my experience with the way I was introduced to them. Like Binali, getting a voice message makes me anxious too. Usually when I'm outside, I don't listen to it at all. When I'm at home with my headphones in front of a computer, I recall that there was a voice message and I listened. Like that's...
For me, for example, it's the other way around. Like when I have tons of message piled up, it makes me so anxious. I avoid it 100%. Like, or I don't want to read it, or I can't read it. Like. But when there's only, let's say, 4 audio recordings that I know that I can speed up to 2, which will take maximum 2 minutes of my time, and I can listen to it whatever and whenever I want to. It's perfect for me.
But I just want to mention, if you haven't disabled your notifications, then you won't have hundreds of text messages.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, then I will be just blasted with those texts all the time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it will become my side job, basically, where it will be almost like a job application that I have to be doing all the time, like, or answering emails as if I'm in a work. I don't like that. Like, that's why I like not being able to reachable that easily in a way, because I like my alone time or my own time with the people that I'm spending in person or online. Yeah.
Depends.
Okay, so let me roll the question to the opposite direction and ask this. Elif, you are saying you get anxious when people text you large blobs of text.
Yes.
And Binali, you say you get anxious when people send you long voice messages without context.
Any voice messages without context, because I don't know what I'm about to face.
I have a similar anxiety. It is like, as I said, voice messages make me anxious too, but I'm going to say something else. When I ask somebody a question, like, why is this the case? And they send me 2 hours long YouTube videos. That makes me very anxious.
Well, yeah. No, that's it.
But you are doing that.
Yeah, you do that too.
Especially like when they don't explain what I am to find in that 2 hours long video. Like, because I feel like as a text, it's like it comes in the form of a text because it's a link. As a text, it wants to be responded. Like, it's going like, you should be answering me, but I'm 2 hours long. Like, do you see the problem? Like, I want to answer it, but I don't know how to answer it because it's 2 hours long and I'm not listening to 2 hours of somebody talking about Izar's favorite technology topic. No offense, Izar.
I mean, the obvious solution here is to reply with your 2-hour YouTube video.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call that a solution. But my question is different. So these things we have this anxiety-inducing type of communication prompts from outsiders. Like, I don't know if Enes is anxious about anything. Enes is the coolest person I know.
Yeah.
Like I just got a 10 minutes video link from WhatsApp just before this podcast, and I'm just seeing if it's really 10 minutes long. And yeah, it's literally 10 minutes long, and I wasn't able to watch it. And I replied, "Okay, I will just watch it later on."
Yeah.
It's a nice video, I hope. That's the way I deal with this problem.
Enes is very cool to get anxious about anything that happens on his phone. And I don't know, is there any type of communication that makes you anxious?
Good question. As I mentioned before, I made my phone to be in a way that it doesn't make me anxious.
Wow.
I want to get back to you on that, but let me first ask my question for us anxious people who are not Enes.
Ooh, LinkedIn messages.
I'm actually anxious, by the way. Like that's why I'm very responsive.
Oh yeah, LinkedIn messages make me very anxious too. That's yes, like totally. Because LinkedIn is in this weird place where it is almost like gravitas of workplace.
But it's Facebook.
Yeah, efforts of Facebook. Yes.
Like what kind of messages do you get on LinkedIn? Like is it coming from friends, colleagues, or bots?
We use LinkedIn to contact people from the same area of work as us.
Business contacts.
Yeah, we're trying to network and find people that will publish our game. By the way, we're gonna publish a game. Wanna play that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Later. Here's the thing. Here's my question. Do you think the people who are contacting you, who are your friends, like I'm not asking, I will be asking about business contacts too later, but do you think your friends are obligated to interact with you in a way that does not induce anxiety to you? Do you think that's part of the friendship contract that you are in with the people?
To Izel, right?
No, to the people who are anxious by certain forms of communication, like Binali. If I start sending you voice messages, are you at any point gonna be like, why is Can Deniz doing this to me? I thought he was my friend. Are you ever gonna go like this? Or do you think that's like some people are like that? Do you ever, like, what's your opinion on this? How much do you think I am obligated to respect your desires in the ways in which you would want to be contacted to?
I think it is hard to have a blanket check on this. Like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is reasonable because people have communication styles. Like, as much as I have communication styles I feel anxious about, people also have their own communication style. Like, my communication style can be anxious to other people too. So I think it is not, for me, it's not reasonable to be like, I can't interact with people with this communication style. Like, I can't cut it off. If it's on a point where like it is really affecting me and it's really affecting the quality of communication between me and my friend, then I would communicate that. Like, you're doing this and this is not really manageable for me. I guess I would not react to it in any way like to cut the communication off or listen to communication.
But how will you communicate? Via text or a voice message?
No. We are trapped in the vicious cycle.
I think I have an example on this. Like, Elif and I don't text each other unless we are planning a Discord call. Because our main way of communicating is a Discord call.
True. Yeah, like for example, okay, so first thing that I was kind of thinking when Binelli said, like, and when I receive a audio message, it's kind of anxious. It makes me anxious and I get stressed because I don't know the content. But it's kind of the same with any kind of a phone call that you receive because you don't know the content. The person is just calling you. And while I was kind of saying, like, reading is hard, texting is pretty hard for me. I'm not really good at it and I can't keep up. So that's why I prefer calls. And Discord is like the best way for me to be in touch with people in a way. And since my computer was broken and I've been moving around and didn't have a stable, I still don't, but like a stable place where I can reach out to people and talk to them again. I genuinely feel like I'm missing out on things and missing people that I used to talk to a lot. And like that's kind of the problem of struggling, I guess, with a certain way of communication and not being able to adapt to others' ways of like communicating in my behalf. Because I'm not good at texting and reading, I generally cannot follow the WhatsApp conversations that's happening in our chat groups. And I just sometimes like text that, like, I miss you all, like I'm here, I think about you, but I just cannot, I can't like, I can't follow, but I'm here and I'm missing you all. Like that's the only thing I am able to do. Like, and yeah, like
Before it turns out to therapy sessions, I should say, I was thinking, oh, Elif is so cool to reply to our messages.
No, it's just I'm not able to, literally. It's just not possible. Like I I can't. I literally can't because I don't know where to start, when it ends, and there's so much happening at the same time. It's impossible to read it. It's not like a book, and everybody's saying a different thing, and there are different days that people talked and I didn't read it, and it becomes even more complicated.
I think recently I decided that I'm not gonna try to reply to people instantly unless
It's like a direct question to you, right?
yeah. I realized I have to say this about myself. I only speak to people via text in groups. I don't like to direct message anyone unless it's a few people, like Enes, I text you, right?
Yeah, but like our conversation is not like we are constantly messaging each other. We are just sending a message one day and other one replies in the other day, and the other one replies 1 week later, mostly you, and it goes on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's like a bookmark thing for us. Like, oh, I saw something and just send you, and I will bookmark that website, for example, or video.
Actually, I need to add something here. Enes's messages to Izal makes me anxious because I remember multiple occasions where I'm like, you should be answering this guy, Izal. Like, I see his messages on your phone and I'm like, have you answered Enes yet? You should answer this boy. You are being very rude right now.
Okay.
Like, Enes's messages not being answered makes me anxious.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry. But the way I cope with the amount of messages I get, because another thing about the people in this chat is that when Can Deniz and Binali starts talking in a group chat, they talk.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm like, dude, you can do this in a private chat. Like,
that is impossible.
At those times, I have 100 messages.
They have multiple chats that they talk to each other at the same time. They do that. They speak about other topics in at the same time. It's crazy.
That's impressive to me.
That's their friendship.
But never in direct messages. Never ever in direct messages.
Yeah, like the fact that you guys can follow different groups' conversation and respond to each other, even that in a different topics, like that's so impressive. Because sometimes I literally text the wrong group because most of them are the same people. Like,
we have 2 WhatsApp groups with same people for different purposes. So
yeah.
That's what is the second? That's the
Game.
That's it's a Telegram group, not WhatsApp group. That's why.
Oh yeah, let's not even talk about different apps, like
Okay. I spilled so many beans, so I'm gonna come back to the thing I was gonna say. My way of responding to people is when I'm at my computer. I'm connected to my headphones is connected to my computer, so I'm gonna listen to your voice messages, or if there are 200 messages on one chat, I'm gonna make it a big screen so I can focus on it, because it's real hard to do on phones. But
On phone.
I believe Janens and Binali are also only speaking on the computer, so it's the only way to read their messages.
That's why it's like it feels a little bit more like emailing or work, like because you have to literally be on the computer, and to me that changes the purpose of instant messaging on your phone.
I don't see them as instant messages anymore. So that's how I'm not. It's not anxiety inducing for me anymore. Go on.
Okay, let me quickly start by explaining this. First of all, yes, I am also usually on my computer when I'm texting large amounts of text. I like writing. That has been the case for
Typing, better to say.
Indeed. When I'm typing long types, I'm usually at my computer. But that's not necessarily the case. Sometimes I go, like this one time I was in the gym, and some people were wrong on the internet. So, and when I say internet, I mean one of those groups. Some people were wrong on the internet. So I paused my training, and I started replying. And Isar came next to me and she said, you should be doing sports right now. Put down that phone. And I went, no, but people are wrong on the internet. I need to respond this. And she's like, no, you need to do sports. You will respond to people later.
Nice. Good is that. No, that's good, healthy boundaries.
Sometimes you shouldn't be responsible. You should be responsible for yourself.
Yeah.
No, I am never going to reply to any of you ever again after this.
I mean, I should rephrase myself. You shouldn't be responsive. You should be responsible.
On the other topic, here's the thing. I am very open to the idea of having multiple groups with the same people.
I agree.
For different purposes. One for emergency communication and one for casual conversation. But in my experience, whenever I tried doing this, in fact, I even tried doing this across messaging applications. Like I said, this messaging application with these people is for serious matters and the other one isn't. Even when I do that, I have noticed people do not respect that boundary as rigidly as I do. And often people are either talking in the other thing with the, they mix it up and the distinction becomes meaningless.
Yeah, I do mix. I'm one of those people. I mix it up. It's just so in my head, that boundary is hard. But I guess it's maybe an ADHD thing, which I have. Because I can't really keep those boundaries super clear. And I tend to tell maybe super casual things in a not casual environment in person too. Just to give an example, it's totally unrelated, but a new guy came into our office and the company put 2 helium balloons, right? Small 2 helium balloons on his desk as a, hey, welcome. And the day passes and during the week, they lose the air and slowly they are just dangling at the bottom of the desk.
Oh no, I see where this is going.
And I was like, people were kind of commenting and oh, poor balloons, they look so sad. But to me, it was just hilarious. And I go without thinking to my boss and my colleagues, can I tell an inappropriate joke? And they go well, now you have to. I'm like, okay, but don't judge me. And I go like, they look like old men's testicles. They look like old
Okay.
balls sacking underneath the desk. And I like, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is, when you struggle with basic communication skills, it's really hard to do that online as well. Like, like in digital space, it becomes really hard still. Like, it's not easy. At least not for me.
I am quite opposite to you in this regard because I am very solid with those boundaries. I can very easily disconnect groups between, like even with the same people groups. I can go, this group is for that type of communication and the other is for that type of communication. This happens very easily to me. In fact, I can do this with people too. Like, this person is a business person.
You can do that with time too.
Yes, I do that. I can.
Between those are you're only my colleague, and between those are you are my best.
Yeah.
Yes, friends, people are like other people who are not like that can find me very unpolite when I'm in the other department. But I learned it the hard way that you should be doing this when you are doing activities with your friends, and like when you are game mastering, you need to be fair. Like,
Yeah.
on the table, you have a friend for many years, you have your girlfriend, and you have a person who just started playing this game. And you need to be fair to all these people because they notice and they resent you for not being fair when you are like not doing that. Like, I'm not saying that's why this happened, but this happened and it became relevant in those situations. I can very easily compartmentalize things in my head, so I can easily do that. But it would be preferable for many of the situations that we are describing as problems.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree. When I was getting my dyslexia test, one of the things that they first noticed was that, like, I literally cannot categorize things. The way I categorize them is different for like other people brains, like, and it was pretty interesting to see. Oh, that's why I think that I'm friends with my boss. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, like it's hard.
Like I said, I'm on the complete opposite. People, my workplace people often were
Your workplace.
wondering why I wasn't friendly with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point.
People's brains work differently. We should accept that. And as in the context of technology, that we should make the things work for us, not make them work for us.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it.
That was a good
nice.
Nice. Yeah. So I think you turning off all the notifications is working for you, and Jandin is using different chat groups to differentiate topics is the same. But it makes it hard for you two to communicate. But you're like so opposite on communication.
But communication is a two-sided thing. Like you said, Discord is very comfortable for me. It isn't for me. And the main reason is when I open a Discord conversation, my mind acts like I am sitting in a table with those people. When I'm in a table with people, by the way, this is gonna also make it look like I'm very old. When I'm sitting in a table with people, it annoys me when they are checking their phones all the time. Like even slightly checking their phones, difficult for me because I consider it very rude. And same with Discord. When I'm in Discord, I usually either focus my whole attention to Discord and nobody else does, and that becomes a problem for me.
Yeah.
Or I focus on another thing and I turn Discord off in my brain, and at that point I'm like, I could have been listening to some other thing, like a video or something, because I'm not communicating with these people. Either usually doesn't work for me. So
But I like
communication is a two-sided thing. So I think it's up to a point okay to expect some kind of middle ground from the opposition, like back at the original question and back at the original binary, which I allegedly talk a lot with.
I didn't say you talk a lot. You speak in large quantities.
I don't speak in large quantities. You don't speak in regular quantities, so mine looks bigger.
I agree.
But that's not my point. Yeah, because like in the high school classroom, this was similar. Everybody was talking, but we were always getting the blame. Anyway.
Cute.
My point is, I disagree with Binali because I think there's a certain amount of reasonable expectation you can have to a people for that person to respect your communication preferences. Like communication apps is one of those things. Like I talk to my friends on Telegram and some people found that transition very easy, some people less easy. And this was a point of contention in our friend group for a while. Or like, I hate being cold. It's like one of my worst things. And my parents eventually learned that if they want to reach to me and not fight immediately afterwards, they should probably be texting. Which I love my parents. Everybody should text everybody who is my family. And Elif is not my family, so she's fine. But like I said, when you are talking with a person, I think you should be, to a degree, aware of their preferences. And the person has some right to expect that from you. Like, and something similar happens. Like I know Izal, this happens for Izal. When she texts someone or calls someone who is in a different country, she has a clock in her phone home screen of what the hour is for those people, and she tries to reach to them in reasonable hours using that clock.
I not like to reach to them in reasonable hours, but it's useful.
You're like, even if this is an unreasonable hour, at least I am aware of it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like I'm not expecting an immediate response. So Enes, do you have any friends that want to communicate with you in any way?
We have friends.
I have
Enes.
friends. Yeah.
Tell us, Enes, do you have friends?
No, but they may be real life friends. Like maybe they don't like using phone at all. Like maybe they shout at each other from their balconies and they are neighbors.
Oh no.
I don't have that kind of a friend, I guess. All the people are like, everyone just texts me or calls me. I mean, I didn't get the question then.
I mean, I'm asking you, like, what is friend communication over phone mean to you? What does that mean for you? And like, you solve the discussion. Do something similar to the discussion that you heard.
I mean, like calling someone is like a 1 hour call for me. Like, I mean, to catch up with someone. Like I used to have a phone call with Elif.
Yeah.
Like once a month or something.
Exactly.
And we just talk like an hour, and
sometimes
that's
more.
Yeah, sometimes more to catch up. That's how I use phone calls. But
Same.
I generally don't talk with friends on phone, I guess, unless they're like, I talk with my family on phone to catch up weekly sometimes. But nowadays we are just using video calls, like rather than you calling on phone. I used to have a phone call with friends, but now we are having video calls with my family or with my friends, not phone calls. Phone calls is just business calls for me right now. I just call people on work.
Okay, video calls is a whole other thing, and I'm gonna very quickly state my point and run away. You remember me saying when I enter Discord, I feel like I am sitting on a table with those people and I start expecting the things I would expect in a table. Something similar happens with video calls in the sense that when I get a video call, whatever I'm doing, I grind it to a halt, like even with a regular phone conversation, but much more so with video. I grind whatever I'm doing to a halt, and I like start focusing on that person. And as a person who usually wants to know they are going to meet a person in a week's advance in order to mentally prepare for the meeting, being video called out of the blue is like, if you want to provoke me, if you want to make me angry very fast, that's the way to go. You should video call me without telling context or warning me earlier. If you want me to end being your friend, that's one way you can achieve it, by doing this multiple times. So like I said, I usually want to. It's like a meeting with a person for me. I feel
Yes,
like I am
definitely.
like I should be preparing, like getting dressed, put on deodorants, getting washed if necessary.
You don't need to put on deodorant, but it's okay.
Yeah, but do it for yourself.
No, but that's what my mind acts like. It's the opposite type. It's the opposite thing with the having boundaries. Because when you categorize a video call, it is categorized in the slot where you need to prepare for things. And you can't just be teleported to a cafe and start drinking coffee with your friend.
I wish though.
There's a mental preparation for me. And when video call is completely breaks that for me. So like
Yeah. For sure. That's why I text people before I call them. Like that's why I text them, to give them like a, hey, like I'm planning to call you. Are you free? Like when would be best? Like can I call you in 15 minutes? Like it's literally the same thing that I'm thinking when I text first before calling.
But you can just directly call someone. To video call someone is like my family does that. Just out of context, they video call me, but assuming I'm at home and just resting. But other than that, I don't accept video calls without.
That's a warning to our listeners. Enes does not accept video calls.
But video calls are just, I think they come out of the sound chats for me. Like we're on Discord, we're already speaking. I feel ready to see you.
Okay, in Discord, things get a little bit of a switcheroo. When in Discord, I have a slightly more incentive to initiate a video chat, because I can better look at whether people are looking at their phones or not in the table when there's a
Oh God.
video on Discord.
You have ulterior motives.
No, but hear me out. I am listening to you right now. I don't know what you are doing, so I cannot adjust myself accordingly. I don't know if this is a...
Yeah. No, I completely get you.
I mean, we are like talking right now, but if this was a social Discord, I don't know if it is like people are doing their own stuff and hearing each other in the background, or it's a full-fledged focused meeting.
No, I 100% empathize with you on that, and that is why whenever I am watching a movie with someone, I catch myself doing this. Whenever I'm watching something on Discord with someone, whenever it's like a muted call, I realize I am over commenting on things, or just to engage with people.
I love it though. I love comments on videos.
Again, you are commenting the right amount. Other people are commenting little. Because when I watch movies with you, we have a similar ratio of comments.
Yeah, but like I think that's why I also say, like, I get what you mean, because like on a call I have no idea what anyone else is doing, and like I feel the need to constantly engage with people to actually feel like I am spending time with people.
Yeah, because if everybody's doing their own thing and occasionally talking on Discord, it's like you know how there's when you are in a table with friends and sometimes there is silence and somebody needs to break that silence because they are the cool guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like they are the person who invited people and are feeling responsible in their entertainment.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. So whenever I feel on a table, whenever there's a silence, I feel like I need to do something to break the silence, and in Discord, this creates an extra pressure for me when people are in a low key situation. So whenever video is open, I know how to approach at people on Discord.
Open video makes me so stressed, man. Like, I hate seeing myself. And see, like, just the fact that I'm there, it makes me really anxious.
I mean, you can close yourself. You can not see yourself. I think there's an option for that.
And like, not all apps have it, but I tend to be how should I say, like, just, I don't know, I enjoy those silence moments. Like with Isa, for example, when we are on Discord, and even with some of my old boyfriends or like partners, like we would open up a video call or like an actual call, but do our own thing, just to feel like we are kind of together and we don't have to talk, like, but sometimes there will be a funny thing comes up and we will talk, and then there will be silence and everybody would go back to their own things. I guess it's not exactly the same as like meeting up with a friend in a coffee place scenario, but I do enjoy silence, and I enjoy people doing their own thing, but still being on Discord and occasionally talking to each other. I don't know. That really gives me pleasure. The idea of like sharing time together.
But it was like a study date. Like we used to, pandemics it started, but we started dating on Discord with people. Like we were doing our stuff. But if we are talking about communication, it should be something different, I guess. Like if we are having a conversation, we shouldn't doing our other stuff. But if we meet for a study date, we shouldn't need to be constantly speaking to each other. We just talk whenever we have something funny, something interesting. I think it will be okay, but it's not a conversation, I guess.
But we also do that by using different voice channels on Discord. Like we have one where we only sit in silence while studying, I guess, mostly, and we have one that's where we watch stuff together, so people are only focused on that, and we have one that people just drop by, like when you meet people at school, like.
No, yeah.
I mean, that's returning to the way this started. There's an understanding that on different social circles, on different social environments, you are expected to behave differently. Like you said, when you are watching a movie, you behave different, or when you are studying in a study date. I imagine I don't like study dates. You are expected to act in a certain way. No, but anyway. My point is, when there's a high engagement type of social interaction like Discord, there's a silent agreement between parties on how to behave on that particular channel. Text is slightly different, and one-to-one text is especially different, because the chat with that person is highly contained in that messenger screen. Like when you are talking one-on-one with a person, everything that you are going to ever say to that person one-on-one is going to be in that particular place. So you can't really form a contract. Does that make sense? Have I explained it?
No, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Like if I'm inviting you to something, or if I'm asking how your fluffy cat is doing, that's all going to happen in the same place. That's what I mean. And that can create the lack of agreement that we were earlier talking about. I was already talking about. On that note, I think that's what I say when I say there's a certain amount of understanding that you would respect to other person's preferences. That's more so in the one-on-one chat. I think when you are personally contacting with a person, there's more reason to expect them to respect the way you would want to be communicated, because you are directly going at them. Something comparable happens with business people, like workplace people. When I get a text outside work hours from a work person, something very funny happens. my brain thinks that that particular chat has frozen, is warped in time, and that particular chat screen is still in work hours in the workplace,
Yeah.
even though it is 11 p.m.
Ooh, severance.
Oh yes, like that particular page is severed from my head and is a different. It's in a different social context. Like I am maybe like cooking or having fun with my friends, but someplace in my pocket is still at work, and I need to like respond to them in a work way. And that's why I hate taking work texts out of workplace. Like when I get out of the office, I want to leave the office there. And this doesn't happen because on the place that I used to work, there was a WhatsApp group of the workplace, and people used to talk in that group outside work hours, and that was crazy to me. Like
were they talking about work though?
Sometimes, not necessarily always. But there's also something that would happen in a work chat that happened in my work chat too. Some people are working overtime, and for them it is really the work hours, so they are group chatting. And I'm not saying what they are doing is wrong. Like that's what happens in a work chat. I'm saying work chat idea is wrong in general. I think people should.
Yes.
I think people should be less conservative about groups with people. I think having group chats shouldn't be like we established this group chat that's gonna live on forever, and we are forever bound with these people. This shouldn't be how group chats are used. I think group chats should emerge and disappear quickly. Like they should come up, do the thing, and disappear.
I think there's something new in the new iOS 16 that lines up with this, because they brought up the idea. They first in the previous updates they brought up the focus modes where you would only see, you can set your phone as only to see such apps and such. But this time they brought up the idea of that when you are in a specific focus mode, that say that you're in the work focus mode. When you open the calendar, you're only gonna see your work calendar, and they made this in a way that this can work in many apps, not just in calendar and places that you only do stuff on your own. That this can also work in apps like Slack or other communication services.
So will it work with mail?
Yeah, it works with mail.
Oh, nice.
You know, I'm gonna reference you back. I am listening to you, and all I am thinking is this is an elaborate commercial for the series Severance. Like they are trying to advertise Severance using this feature.
Yeah, I think the show came out when they were planning out the new features for the upcoming release. So,
you know, for our dear audience, something happened in my life. I bought an iPhone between the first few episodes and this one. I am an iPhone having person now, and because of this, I now will be informed about the Apple events.
Another one bites the dust.
Like when Apple introduces a new feature, I will know about it, because Isabel will talk to no end about those features, and she's going to install them to my phone without me noticing.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
No.
but no, that's not fair. I tell you that I'm gonna do that. You don't understand.
yes, exactly. That's even better than the way I would have described it. That describes me perfectly.
Maybe you should text him before installing them.
Yeah, thoughts. So anyway, whenever Apple releases new features, I'm gonna always be like, is there maybe a series in Apple TV that is somehow related to this feature?
Oh no.
Like they are gonna introduce some holiday mode, and I'm gonna be like, is Apple introducing a new series about holiday on Apple TV as an elaborate commercial for this feature?
Wait. They announced that new iPhone's gonna have crash detection, and they have a show that two people become sisters after their parents die in a car crash. Two different car crashes.
I think we broke the code. We know how Apple